Hello everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. I have this deck of cards here. It's the Margaret Peterson Tarot, just to have something to look at. But this is more of a like a conversations, one-sided conversation, like an opinion video that I wanted to share. And it's about something that I have been thinking for a while. Last week, I shared a blog post on a newsletter post, I guess, on my newsletter about how my relationship with tarot was changing. And months before that, I had also shared a different newsletter post about how I work with the tarot, and I'll add links to those posts in the description box of this video. And after sharing it, I sometimes I think about how the things I write or share will be received. And there was like this nagging feeling I had about, was that post that I shared making me sound like I was thinking that I was better than people who read tarot, or was I saying that reading tarot every day is not good? It's better to not read tarot. So I wanted to record this video to talk through some of my reflections and some of the things I said. Um, More for me, because nobody has made a comment on my post about um, feeling like I was passing judgment on people who read tarot every day. So, the gist of the post, if you did not read it, is that one of the ways that I see my relationship with tarot changing is that I don't pull cards for myself every day. I don't find myself going to the cards for more like simple readings. I tend to tune into my internal knowing and figure out what I need to do based on my own feelings and intuition, which I would not have been able to do without the tarot. That's something that I didn't include in that newsletter. So that's one of the reasons why I just wanted to share more in video format slash voice format, because I think it's important for me to explore and continuously assess and see how I'm using the tools that I use, especially with tarot becoming a really big commercialized hobby or market, I guess. And me personally, I have a lot of tarot decks, and in the 7 years since I have been reading tarot, my deck collection has grown exponentially. And it slowed down somewhat last year, but not really, because I bought a good chunk of decks, and I shared a video about them last time. And then going into this new year, I do find myself really questioning when I want to buy a tarot deck, because I have so many and I am not using them as often as I used to use them. So I ask myself, like, what is the point of getting another deck? So in my newsletter post, I talked about the tarot being a tool to help us tune into our inner knowing. And I also was thinking about this idea of the tarot as a tool, and I was reflecting on whether I actually think that it's just a tool and that it's not like an alive entity. So some of the things that came up from my reflection on that is that the tool, like the physical cards, they are a tool, but the symbolism and like the energies that are found within the tarot, they're very much alive in my mind. They show up in my life. They're energies and archetypes and images that I can tune into and that I can have a conversation with. So as I was reflecting on thinking of tarot as a tool that we use for our own benefit. I didn't like that that image of tarot being like an inert, inanimate tool that we use. So I do think, well, even with my title for the newsletter is my relationship with the tarot. So can we have a relationship with the tool? Yes, but I think that also in a relationship, it's more of a, like, you influence the other part in the relationship. So it's like a coming together of two different people, beings that where they're both contributing. That's what I think about as a relationship. So also, this is going to be a very rambly video because it's just me talking out loud about my relationship with the tarot, my view of the tarot. Um, Also, it has to do with my like becoming obsessed with buying all the tarot decks, and there's just too many decks out there to keep up with. And last year, or 2022, at the end of the year, I shared a post about 11 reasons not to buy a new deck, and I did buy a few decks in 2023. Like I said earlier, were those purchases justified? Well, that's like a personal question, right? I'm not asking you guys to comment whether they were justified. But as I said, it's just important for me to continuously reflect on how I am relating to the things that I am working with. Let's see. So something else that I mentioned in that um, newsletter post was about how I felt that since starting to work with the tarot, my I was able to really develop a good sense of my intuition. And so, for example, if I needed to make a decision, in the past, maybe I would have pulled some cards to see which decision was better and use that information to help me make a decision. But now I don't often go to the cards for that. I will sit with my my own feelings and thoughts about the two decisions. I will journal about the pros and cons, um, and figure out what the best course of action is that way. But I also want to say that I um, I am a very indecisive person. So making decisions is very hard for me, unless it's like a decision where like I feel the knowing is very strong. Then I will know which direction to go or which action to take. But for the most part, I am very indecisive. I need to like really sit with decisions, um, overthink them, stress myself out. So in those cases, having something like the tarot to go to for help is really helpful and beneficial. And it helped me a lot over the years in making different decisions, or at least getting more information about the decisions that I was going to make. And actually, recently I had an experience where I found myself consulting the cards really often to check on what this whole experience was about. Maybe I should get another deck of cards to flip through. And I found myself pulling cards really often, and the messages were always really positive and empowering. So they were giving me like hope, and I was definitely interpreting them as this is how this action or situation will play out. This is the card I was looking for. And then the situation played out. The outcome was not what I was expecting and not what I thought the cards were telling me. So then I don't I am thinking about whether I was shocked. Well, there was such a long stretch of time in the course of this situation unfolding that towards the conclusion of it. I already kind of had the sense of how it was going to go. And then I reflected on how my cards were so positive. And I'm not saying that the cards were wrong, but I'm saying that maybe I had, like, the situation is still, how it concluded is still positive, and the outcome is positive, and everything that the cards were saying was accurate. But it was not, like, the outcome was not what I had anticipated, if that makes sense. And so when I was thinking about this development of our intuition, and not like our relationship, my relationship with the tarot changing, where I don't always have to consult the cards, I can just consult myself. I was thinking about how that is the whole purpose of the tarot in my mind, to help us connect with our own inner knowing, but also to help us connect with other, like the archetypes in the tarot. Some people use the tarot to connect with their goddesses. I mentioned how I have a dedicated tarot deck. I'm gonna get it right now. That I use to connect with the spirit of my home. And I also talked about how one of the ways that I want to work with tarot in the future is to connect with, use it to communicate and connect with the spirits of the land where I live, and also probably with other like spirits and deities. So this is the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, and I bought it specifically to, well, actually I just bought it because it was nice, and I love the art, and whenever I saw it on Instagram, I thought that it was such a beautiful deck. So then I bought it. It sat in my shelf for a little while, and then we were going through some house problems with the pipes and the sewer, and I had done a like a mini class with Camelia Elias. She used to do this like prompts, where there was like a topic that she picked, and then she would pull cards each day for 7 days, I think, and share like a reflection. So there was, I joined the house prompt session, and I believe she did that during the pandemic, since we were all at home. And through that experience, I started to think about my house as a living entity that I could connect with. So while we were having those sewer problems, pipe problems, I thought, oh, well, I should do a reading to see how my house is doing, and if there's anything that the house wants to communicate to me. So I had this deck, and I pulled it out and I did a reading, and I just felt like it was the best deck for my house. Like, after doing the reading, I thought, oh, this is why I bought this deck, so that I could use it to communicate with the spirit of my house. And I shared a little bit about that reading in my newsletter. But that is one of the ways that I want to use the tarot to connect with things outside of me, although I feel like we're all like connected. So yeah, so just wanted to share that part of the post, and also of how I see my relationship with tarot evolving. And I haven't found like the deck that I will use for connecting with the spirits of the land where I live. I also don't think you need a tarot deck. You could do that by sitting still and listening and tuning into your imagination and your mind and your feelings. But I think that's the point maybe that I'm trying to make, is that tarot can be the gateway to help us develop that sense of knowing and that sense of connection. And I am very happy that my life took a turn to the mystical and the magical. And I'm happy that I have this amazing tool to help me connect with myself and also connect with other non-human um, beings and entities around me. And um, I don't I'm not saying that I'm not going to be purchasing decks. I am being more just intentional with the decks that I purchase because I have so many, and I've thought of maybe like culling my collection, reducing it, or maybe putting some of them in storage and see how I miss them or don't miss them, or finding a way to rotate the decks I'm using so that I get to use all of them. Um, yeah, so those are some thoughts related to tarot that I have. This is really a really beautiful deck. It's based on the art of Odilon Redden, and it is by M. Witherspoon. I know there's a different edition. This is the second edition that I got used from someone, but I think it's not out of print. I think there is a new edition that is out. So yeah, I should conclude this rambling video there. Let me know what you think about your relationship with the tarot, and has it changed since you first started reading? How are you using the tarot right now? I'd love to know in the comments. Thank you.